being a lazy mom. A lot of us work for a living. We don't have the privilege to stay home and cook fresh like you. Stop shaming other women. This is a comment I was left on one of my videos. I just think it's absolutely ridiculous that you would think I'm shaming women when literally what I said in my video, which is titled Day in the Life of a Trad, that's the huge context. As a trad wife, a stay-at-home mom, of course I know that's a privilege. However, not always. Situations are nuanced. It's not so black and white, although that's what triggered heavily liberalized feminists, modern feminists, like to portray. Shaming is a heavy loaded word. Shaming is when you're literally saying, how dare you, you chose to work rather than choosing your family first. I just think it's ridiculous that you would interpret that video as me shaming mothers. Some of us are not easily triggered. Some of us are actually quite chilled out people. We want that motivation. Also, I did not mention mothers who work. It was literally captioned Day in the Life of a Trad. And as a trad, of course I'm a human being. I can also fall into a routine where I feel lazy, where I feel just unproductive, and I just kind of want to stay home all day wearing pajamas and chill with my children. Of course I can fall into this way of living, but it's always going to be short-lived, and that's because I'm influenced by traditionalism. Being specific, like as a Muslim, I love in the Quran a verse that basically says, don't say you'll do it tomorrow, just do this, do it now. As we say in Moroccan, put your, and get to work. Every situation is complex. Things are nuanced. You're taking my comment way too personal and too hard. And when you talk about some of us don't have a privilege to stay at home, you're oversimplifying things. I actually think you can. There's a whole movement contrary to what a lot of people believe. You can easily, in the West, you can easily go from 2 incomes to 1 income. You had enough time to watch a 4-minute video. Perhaps you need to prioritize planning, parenting, all of that stuff rather than scrolling on TikTok. In 4 minutes, I'm able to wash my fish, marinate it, put it in the fridge for later to fry, and also wash my rice and load my dishwasher. And also, I wasn't always this cute, like trad stay at home. We decided we want to go from 2 incomes to 1 income because unfortunately of what is happening in schools right now. There is a new curriculum in schools that they're introducing. It's part of RSE, relationship sex education, has been made mandatory in primary schools in Britain. And some people who are more about that trad life, they don't want their children to be exposed at primary level, so they've decided to homeschool, hence why this community is growing and so on. Some people are just choosing to take their children out of primary school so that they can influence them and not have primary level influence, which means as they grow up, they'll just be desensitized from certain topics. For me, for example, as a Muslim, I respect all people's way of lives. I'm not here to dictate to you how you should live your life, but unfortunately, the liberals really have a hold of this new agenda that they're pushing, heavily pushing in primary schools. Some of us don't want our children to be exposed to gender ideology at such a young age. No hate to these people. I always teach my children to respect other people. If you're a liberal, you're literally just a product of your time. Universities are heavily leftist, schools are heavily leftist, and they're pushing this emotional ideology. It's all based on emotion. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't be soft, you shouldn't. Things are not one-dimensional. I believe this is an issue of priority. The way that I help myself is I have things incorporated throughout the day. I don't buy food for a whole week. I buy every 3 days. So that way food doesn't go off as often. I plan for 3 days. Again, you're going to the shop, you're buying your, let's say, fish fingers, your canned food, chips, and you're going to put them in the oven. It really takes the same amount of time to marinate a fish, chicken, whatever, just eat fresh food. And also, guys, I just recently got a dishwasher, which saves me even more times. I was washing dishes by hand for like literally 10 years. Only recently I have a dishwasher. There's so many machines that can help you. I'm not shaming anyone here. You clearly don't know the definition of shame and what it constitutes. And this is a trad wife. This is not a liberal, heavily emotional, easily triggered feminist. It's just about what you prioritize at that time. If you actually just take time out to research what is happening in schools right now and what topics children will be introduced, if you are more leaning towards traditionalism, how can you not? How can you not homeschool? It's one thing I can't stand is playing a victim. For me personally, I'm a strong Moroccan. I will not be manipulated by victimhood, personality types and so on, because I literally don't have time for these types of people. Some of us are okay with hearing content, for example, from Jordan Peterson saying, get your life together, clean your room. I feel motivated when I used to watch this type of content. So yeah, next time before we comment, including myself as well, just think about it. Like, am I projecting my views onto this person? Am I injecting, oh, what is the context? Oh, the context is they have this caption. Things that I'm able to control and implement, of course I will, especially if it constitutes a healthy way of living.